am Britt Britt, and I have with me my lovely Miss Tabatha Fro. Hey, giving us all the fro, all the volume. And we just want to, hey, all the time, all the volume. And we just want to welcome you guys to our first show of what y'all out here doing, or what you out here doing. And it's basically a show we're bringing to the platform to really ask the question, whether you're asking yourself, your friends, your family, or whoever, you know, what you out here doing, is to get you to check yourself just in life, to make sure you're doing everything that serves your highest good, and making sure that what you're putting back out into the world and into the universe is to help it to grow and to expand, and not to take away from. And so we're just super excited to be here. We'll get into a little bit of what type of topics we'll be discussing in the future. And today I think we're just going to jump off. Well, first I would like for us to do introductions. Of course, Miss Tab, tell us a little bit about who Miss Tabatha Fro is, and maybe what the idea behind the show is for you.
Okay, so Tabatha Fro, of course, my name is Tabatha, and I have a fro.
Yes.
I don't know y'all like that to tell you my real name just yet. But this show got started because Britt and I are both Atlanta women.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, at home we call each other Atlanta girls.
That's right, born and raised.
Southern, Grady babies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think over many years of a friendship that spawned out of her knowing my daughter, who is now deceased, we started having conversations, and every single time we would finish the conversation, we would say, "What y'all out here doing? Like, what are you doing out here?"
Mm-hmm.
So, just as Britt said, it's a question that you should be asking your friends, your family, anybody that you're having conversation with, and you hear them talking crazy. Say, what are you out here doing? Like, that is a question that should be answered. Some of the other ventures that I am in, I have a YouTube channel. It is called T Has Fun. I was going to change it. But now it's too late.
Okay.
I remember when I told Christy, who made me make this channel, YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. When I told her the name and I said it out loud, Britt, like literally, I said, "Oh my God, that sounds like a porn name." And she said, "Mm-hmm." And I was like, it's too late.
It's stuck. It's out there now. T Has Fun.
And if you can just imagine how many porn things were coming to me at first, and I had to keep blocking, but hey, no, look, let me tell you something. The word of God is good, man. Okay, one other thing that I do.
T is 40 and having fun.
What? Oh my gosh. If I were only 40, I am 52 years old. Okay.
Are you, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna get into it, but I still want you to be 42, 43, but okay. You look it, so hey. Yeah.
And the other thing that I do is I actually have a executive service that I provide to just everyone. I'm always thinking about making money. So that's me.
Big face hundreds.
Maybe big face hundreds out here. What do you do, Britt?
So I am.
Tell the people this, Britt. Me and Christy used to call Britt, and I still call Britt this, Britt Britt. And we would always say, "Britt Britt, so nice, we got to say it twice."
I never knew that, for real. I love y'all. Yes, Britt Britt in these streets, baby. Okay. So what I do, I am what I call, or what a good friend of mine has coined as a dualpreneur, which means I work a 9 to 5 in corporate, but I also run my own business. But my business is content and copywriting and creative writing. Writing has always been a passion of mine, writing and reading since I was a kid. So I have a copywriting business, creative writing, and a little bit of business writing can be tucked up in there too. And I'm also now delving over into the film and production industry. I wrote a movie with a friend about 2 years ago. And of course, COVID happened, so we had to put it on pause, and it's fully written and ready to go. But now this year we'll start working on executing the film and filming. So I'm super excited about that. So I am just the all things writer, creative, artist. I paint, I do poetry, I sing, I write music. So I'm just an all around creative, what I call a genius. Sometimes it scares me. But just making sure that I'm putting these things to use to not only bring in the coins, but to share my light with the world. So that's who Britt Britt is.
So talents, girl.
Yeah, girl. We dabbling and dipping, honey, with purpose. Yes.
I like it.
And very glad that you invited me to just be a part of the platform and to join in on these conversations, because we've had some real conversations. And just, I love that we've been transparent, and even with you being Chris's mom, but my mama too, just being real with us and talking to us about some things to not only to get us to check ourselves, but you've told us, in moments when you've had to check yourself too, especially as a woman. So I'm just, thankful that you invited me to be a part of this. I'm very excited for what we have coming and how transparent we're going to get to be and colorful with all our stories and stuff. Yes. Because honey, you're gonna need some wine, a little bit of whiskey, something on the side, but we're gonna be super, super real and super, super fun. So just jumping right into the show for today. We kind of just want to give a little introduction to Atlanta, right? And how our experiences were with growing up here, being born and raised here in Atlanta. I think you get a different point from people who are actually born and raised here, other than what you might see on TV or hear on the news, celebrity wise or whatever. But just getting to know the day to day of people who are from Atlanta, the hustle and bustle, and what that truly, truly means. Not just saying, oh, I'm from Atlanta, it's the dirty South, it's known for this. But for you, Ma, how was your experience growing up and being from Atlanta, Georgia?
Well, first of all, I love Atlanta. As I have transitioned through time, growing up, didn't know anything about it. Folks saying Atlanta was country. Most times when I talk to people, they have no idea that I'm from Atlanta. So I don't know what they're talking about. But let's see. My experiences. Grew up modest. Most would say poor.
Got you.
The greatest thing about my life is we actually never knew we didn't really have the kind of finances that other people had. So I grew up on the side of Atlanta that was near housing project. Went to school, still have friends that have been my friends since they were young and in elementary school. We talk from time to time. Missing and murdered Atlanta children's things shaped our life when we were growing up. That was a major,
that was a major event.
You don't know anybody who is my age that can't tell you that when the kids started coming up missing, how you couldn't come off the front porch. I can remember almost getting a whooping because I rode my bike up the hill and mama couldn't see me.
And I'm shaking my head because I was not there, but my mama tells me the same stories about that time. Very same thing. My grandma was not having it. It was scary. Yeah.
And a few of those people were actually snatched in my neighborhood.
Wow.
So yeah, Thomasville. That's where I grew up.
Okay.
So that portion of my life, going to college here, having a child at a young age, never wanting to leave Atlanta because number one, I understood that it was my core because all of my family lives here. And number two, as I got older, people would ask me, well, you never thought about living somewhere else? I said, why? Everybody's trying to come to Atlanta and live. Why would I leave the greatest place where everybody is
the living? Mecca, okay? The blackness. We're going to get into that.
But it is truly a place, no matter what your social status is, no matter how much money you have, what side of town you grew up on. None of that even matters here. This is the one place that I can tell you from hearing other people's stories about where they grew up. This is probably the one place where it doesn't matter. And on a daily, you could be rubbing elbows with somebody who is a millionaire, billionaire. You wouldn't even know it. They wouldn't act that way. Superstars come to live here, and we see them and just be like, hey, what's up?
Exactly. I was gonna say the only ones that might act like they don't know what's going on and they can't be from here. I mean, of course, we can't speak for everybody, but majority of the time, you can't be from Atlanta, honey, because ain't nobody slim with your little money and say we all still from Atlanta. But bless you, though.
That's a hard.
Right.
Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell growing up. You know, my parents, everything, living here. But you guys will get more information about that, and you will understand why my daughter and her friends love to hang around with me, because they call me the gangster Christian.
Listen, okay, got that Bible and some word for you. Real word.
That's bourbon.
I was gonna say, what's the other thing she told? There we go, bourbon. Very cool. Yeah, so for me, you know, me and Chris was born in 86, right? So we 80s babies. We grew up in the 90s, honey. We were the babies of Freaknik, okay? And what I mean by that is we ain't had no business being down nowhere by nobody, Freaknik, nothing, but we peeking around the corners trying to see what's going on. And I'm pretty sure you and my mom, y'all have a slight little age gap, but still we're coming up around the same time, honey, having a good time and just out there. So for me, growing up in Atlanta, growing up in the 90s, I had a great childhood. I was born at Grady baby, hey. And we'll talk about later, you know, Chris actually broke it down to me why majority of black people were born at Grady. You know, back in the day. We'll talk about that later. She dropped that jewel on me, baby. And I was like, you better come with that knowledge, boo. But we still was like, still Grady, baby. We don't care. But, but I grew up in Decatur mainly. But I always say I'm just from Atlanta because I grew up on the west side too. So the west side is, you know, Atlanta, Bankhead, Donnelly, Hollowell now, but it used to be called Bankhead. You might hear T.I. talk about that a lot in his songs, or other people, you know, from Atlanta. But my grandmother and my aunt were all on the west side, and me and my mom and my brother and my dad were on the east side, but we stayed coming to the west side on the weekends or any chance we got. And I pretty much was all over Atlanta, probably except the south side growing up. But for me, I just heard the stories of like your child murders and different things that happened. I can remember going to elementary school. You know, I had a very great elementary experience. I think during those times the teachers really cared a lot about us, what we were learning. I love my teachers. We had a lot of black teachers, male and female. You know, that was different back then versus what I'm seeing now. And we just had a different rapport and a different relationship with our teachers. I felt like they were kind of our second parents, because they'll talk to our parents and say, you know, he or she is doing this, that, and that. And my mama was one of them ones, honey, ready to come to the school, like, what's she doing? You know, she was very involved. So, but I
beat the teacher up,
huh?
And not to beat the teacher up,
not to beat her up, right? She was coming to say, well, how can we work together? What is Brittany doing or not doing? And mainly for me, it was just talking too much in class. Ooh, are you surprised? But anyway, so I had a great childhood. I just have always been proud to be from Atlanta because there's so much rich history here. Of course, we know about, you know, all the civil rights activists and people that are from here who, and even having like mayors and sheriffs and, you know, high offices, knowing that as a child, it really put me in a space to say, I can do this or I can do that or I can be anything. And I feel like Atlanta is really that place. Especially for the black experience. I can't speak to any other experiences, but my black folk, you know, we were taught and shown that we can do what we want, be what we want, and be ourselves while being country doing it. And, you know, to your point about not sounding like you're from Atlanta, I hear that a lot too. We was just talking about that at work, me and a homegirl, and I think people get it twisted just because you say you're from Atlanta. We're not from the deep south of Georgia. You know, that might be where you go, where you start hearing a little bit more twang, and we can put it on when we want to as you hear it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? But just, you know, I love Atlanta. It's my home. I rep it to the fullest. I don't care what side you from. If you from the south side, east side, west side, north side, you from Atlanta, you from Georgia, you repping. You know what I'm saying?
All of us will do this.
Exactly. You know, so but yeah, I love my home. I'm proud to be from Atlanta, and I think, you know, right now there's a lot of opportunity, and I'm very proud of how the city is continuing to grow, you know, with bringing different movie sets here and all type of things. You know, you got Tyler Perry busting it out. We just had a black mayor named Keisha in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? We got another young man who just stepped up into a mayoral position. So there's so much, I think, positive outlook here, and so much opportunity, especially for Black folks, to just rise and be great.
I always want to keep our filming short. We don't want to lose your attention. So let's get into some of the stories that we will have on this podcast.
Sure. So some of the topics we'll discuss, again, because we're all about life and making sure you're checking yourself and asking yourself those right questions to make sure you're living right. We'll talk about things like shame. What is shame? You know, where does it come from? Talk a little bit about how it might start in a family or not. We're going to talk about things like death, you know, losing people who are close to us. How do we handle that? We'll talk about things like knowing your wild side, especially as a woman, you know, knowing your inner wild person, knowing when to tame her, when to let her free, how to own her, setting yourself up sometimes when you know you're a little bit different from your family, and how you can own yourself and kind of reinvent yourself and unlearn some of the things that may not be serving you in your life. And then we'll also take like a little tour around Atlanta when things start to really open back up, and just show, you know, you guys different sides of Atlanta, restaurants, different environments, Black owned businesses, and things that we really just support to show you what's really going on and what we're really doing out here in Atlanta. So again, we're excited, and we just want to talk about all things positive and all things that bring you joy, as Miss Tab would say. Choosing joy.
Choose it all the time. Okay, so our next topic, we have not chosen it yet, but by the time we air this video, we'll just have it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I'm sure you will enjoy it, because I am not short on words, and I bring the real. And Britt does.
I do. Not short on the drink, honey. We're going to bring the real with a couple sips in between. So super excited. So excited.
And thank you again, Britt, for joining me on this journey. I hope that it can help somebody, because that's all my life has been about, especially now. Just want to bring some people along. I mean, it may be tough for a lot of folks out because they've lost loved ones recently from COVID and whatever else is going on in this world. And we'll talk more about my daughter and her situation, and just what you should do to protect your peace.
Yes, at all times.
So we will leave you with some sort of inspiration. What will that be?
For this first one, I say, you know, don't be afraid to look in the mirror and start checking yourself. If you're going to start asking yourself, what am I doing out here? Also, don't be afraid of the answer that comes back to you. And it's okay. You know that little Kermit they have on the hood that talk that mess to you, one of those memes that tell you the real. Like, let your inner Kermit come out and talk to you, because that'll give you an opportunity to really start opening up and working on some things that you think can be better for your life and for your lively, you know. So I think that would be my inspiration nugget for this first one.
Okay, so next time we'll see you on What Y'all Out Here Doing. What y'all out here doing?
For real, what you doing? Bye.